Okay, kids, you have fallen in love with the Chad Prather Show. Now all you have to do is tell your friends and family all about it so they can be equally offended as you. We're here just to make things a little crazy in your day. We come to you 4 times a week, and we encourage you every time. Go over to YouTube and watch it or wherever podcasts are offered because we are capitalists and we want advertisers to say, wow, that's one of the best podcasts in America, and we want to give you our money so we can advertise through you. But it's going to be people like you that matter, okay? That's what we're here to do. This is a for-profit business. We're not Venezuela yet, my friends. And speaking of good podcasts, I'm sitting here with my good buddy Jeffy Fisher, the host of, oh my God, have you ever chewing?
No, it's called Chewing the Fat.
No, I was going to ask you a question before you get in there. Well, like, did you get to choose that name, Chewing the Fat with Jeffy?
Yeah, we all chose it. I mean, I did a segment. I started doing a segment on Pat Gray's show, and I was doing a segment every day on Pat's show when he was doing afternoons. He does mornings now early. I'm not doing every day, and that's too early. But I did every day in the afternoons, and we just called it the Chewing the Fat segment.
I like that. See, I love Chewing the Fat, and I totally ripped your tweet off the other day. I just deleted all the Chewing the Fat stuff, and I put the Chad Prather Show stuff in there. Just copied, pasted, put it in there.
That's what I'm here for.
I know. You're a giver.
Right.
You're a giver. But I never got to really choose the name of a podcast. It was chosen for me out of L.A. back when I was with another production company.
I can see what the struggle was.
Yeah, well, I'm not that vain. I mean, I'm not Graham Allen, but I'm not that vain. I'm not Glenn Beck. So coming for you, Beck. I hear Glenn Beck has a fabulous bunker. No,
I mean, his wife likes it.
So anyway, but I like my buddy Aubrey Huff that used to play. I understand. This is where it's going to go today, folks. My buddy Aubrey Huff that used to play for the San Francisco Giants, like his new podcast called Off the Cuff with Aubrey Huff. Like you can't see, that's great. Yeah, it's great. Anyway, ball players. We got Party Foul Steve sitting over here. He's a ball player, but you have a different kind. And Hot News Natalie over there. Yes. I just got a text back from your husband. I sent him that picture, and he said, she's a keeper. She's a keeper. I know. God, he's so nice. Going to get lucky tonight. Yeah, the Puppet Master Mark is sitting at the helm of the starship of Studio 22. Boy, Stu almost came out of me. You talk about a Freudian. Wow.
No kidding.
Yeah, when Stu comes out of you. And Candice, Queen of the Ethiopians. You guys make my life all succinct and perfectly in harmony with the universe.
She's actually the Queen of the Ethiopians?
Yeah, she is.
I didn't know that.
She is. Well, she's actually Queen of the Ecuadorians, but she's a little bit ashamed of her nationality.
Oh, don't be afraid.
She's trying to appropriate races is what she's trying to do.
My mother-in-law is from Ecuador. You're the queen of that place?
You know.
I'll have to tell her.
You didn't know she was royalty.
I didn't.
There's been some disputes.
Yeah. Yeah, the crown is up in the air. So whenever Jeffy comes in, we like to do little segments called News That Doesn't Matter.
Well, that sounds a lot like my podcast. But
News That Doesn't Matter. You can get it all the time on Chewing the Fat with Jeffy Fisher.
You can. I actually provide 5 days of content of Chewing the Fat Monday through Friday. I don't know what your deal is with the 4-day thing, but
well, see, like on Mondays and Wednesdays, Hot News Natalie brings us all of the headlines and the things that are going on in the world. And even that, to me, is news that doesn't matter because, oh, my God, you have to report something. It's everything every day.
I struggle, and it's not really a struggle, but I mean, I don't do any politics. Very little. Very little politics on Chewing the Fat. I can't. Yeah. I can't. It's too much. It drives me insane.
It's ludicrous. It's ludicrous. I was going to bring something up, but we're not going to do politics.
I mean, we can.
I mean, we can. Let's talk. What's going on? Okay,
I sit on in on the news and why it matters. So I mean, there's a lot of politics stuff there. I sit in on Glenn Beck's radio show from time to time. You know, that's full of politics. I get it. You know, but it's just it just drives me crazy.
You've been with Glenn for how long? 48, 50 years?
It's coming up on something like that. Yeah,
it's a centennial.
I mean, I've seen his bunker. I'm over it.
Does Glenn's house look like an LL Bean catalog? I'm just wondering. You know, kind of feel like it does. Yeah, it does. Nothing's out of place. Anyway, you've been a little bit exposed.
That's a fact.
Yeah.
It's agonizing, actually.
Yeah, he's quite choleric in control.
Yeah.
Do you have a headline that's pressing, like something that's going on in the world that you want to talk about? Because I have one that I want to, but I want to give you. You're the guest, so.
Well, no, I mean,
I'm here for you, Jeffy.
The show is the Chad Prather. Is it program or show? It's a show.
It's a show. Yeah, we'll call it whatever as long as my name's in it. Jeffy, give me something. What do we got? What's happening?
I mean, we can go down a list. I'll give you a couple headlines. We can tell you things that don't really matter. I thought that's what we were doing, right?
That's what I want to do. None of this matters.
Nintendo has so much money, the company could lose roughly $257 million every year and still survive until 2052. See, that's news. It doesn't matter.
Mario got money. Mario and Luigi. There's money in mushrooms, man. There's money in killing turtles.
We could dig into this story, and this story is just I mean, everyone in the room will say, yeah, that's right. But it's there's a new study out that I don't even want to delve into the story. I'm just going to read you the headline, okay? Women with psychotic disorders found to have worse symptoms around the time of their periods.
Duh. How much taxpayer money went into that study? I mean, you want to talk about stating the obvious.
I know.
Yeah,
I know.
First of all, that begs the question. You mean there's some women that aren't psychotic? I mean, my gosh. Look, I'll say it. You women, and you know what? Here's what's going to happen is how dare you say that? You know why you're typing those words right now on your keyboard to fuss at me and Jeffy? Is because you're psychotic. I used to follow you until now. This ain't the airport, honey. You don't have to announce your departure.
Oh, thank you.
I'm a little psychotic.
If you announce your departure.
And I'm not even on my period.
You sure? Are you sure? Because I saw you limping around here and wanting people to feel sorry for you, so.
I'm feeling hot. I've got a flash.
You're feeling hot because this room is the fires of hell.
It's hot, Glenn Beck. I don't even know why I'm calling on Glenn.
I stepped over mounds of humans that burned to death coming into this room. It's so
You know that game when you were a kid, you used to step over on the furniture to furniture so you wouldn't hit the hot lava, which was the floor?
Yes.
Like, it's literally like that here.
Yes, it is. Yes,
yeah, we're in the third level of hell.
I know those of you watching and listening, it doesn't matter to you because you're in your air-conditioned automobile or your home, and you're like, isn't everybody as comfortable as me? No! No, everyone is not.
People always ask, they're like, it's not really that hot in Studio 22. Jeffy came in here a minute ago, and he goes, I wouldn't do it.
I would not do it. I wouldn't.
They did diagnose the problem today.
Yeah, it's called, I don't know, it needs an air conditioner. I don't have a degree. I can figure that one out.
If you've followed this show for any length of time, you've seen we've had styrofoam swamp coolers built in here with ice melting in it with fans blowing it through the hole. I mean, we have rednecked the hell out of this room.
No, that's not happening.
Yeah.
Maybe Gaston, you should call him and say, hey, we need AC.
I did call Gaston. I called Gaston.
What year are we in?
And Gaston goes, I didn't even know it was a problem over there. And I'm like, okay, we've been in this.
But see, that's an answer of a boss that just wants to avoid the problem. I think.
Oh, I didn't know. I promise you.
Oh, it's a problem?
And here's
I
what
didn't
he
even
said.
know.
Listen, Gaston, I do love my job, but I'm going to tell this because it's funny. He's like, and if it's not fixed by next week, let me know again.
Right. Just send me another email.
See, that's called management.
Right. That's exactly. Keep me informed.
Yeah.
Because I mean, that's out of control. I wish I'd have known sooner.
I need Nintendo money.
Right.
Let me tell you something. So anyway, women go crazy when they get their periods.
Now, before we started talking live on the air, we were actually talking live off the air because we were both still alive. Anyway, we talked about your guest that is building bunkers. And, bunkers, those things, I kind of feel like they always sound good. Mm-hmm. And they're
like a boat.
Everybody kind of, yeah. You always kind of want one. It feels like you should have one. But do you really want one?
Yeah.
I mean, are you really going to use it? Or are you going to look out and it's going to be, is the tornado actually coming? Is the thing actually, we're fine. I'm going to go back to bed. They had a bunker and they're all dead because they didn't go to the bunker.
The bunker was fine.
Right. The dog went to the bunker and is fine.
Like, I kind of think that I would probably wind up just leaving the door open. It would be one big $100,000 doghouse. That's what it would be.
Right,
if my wife had her way, that's the way it would be.
That's it. I'm out of here. I'm going to the bunker to watch TV. Well, that's not what it's for. It is now. But the good thing is, and you were talking about having just a place to get away to.
Yeah.
But Amazon now, and everything old is new again, of course, Amazon is selling prefab houses, online free delivery.
That's Sears and Roebuck.
Thank you very much. That's exactly.
Wow.
Years have passed now where you used to be able to get a house out of the magazine. Now you could get a house out of the internet.
I don't know what a price point is on it. Like, could they carry that in on one of those Amazon drones?
Pretty close. It'd be a bigger drone.
That's called a helicopter.
Yeah. But because the real deal is the small one is like 172 square feet for $7,000.
So it's a bed.
Yeah, it's a little.
Put it together yourself, I'm
sure.
But
you can get the 292-foot square cabin. That's $19,000. They're free shipping.
That's the mom pod you put in your backyard for your mother-in-law.
Yes, that's exactly what it is. You
don't want them living in your house, but, you know, they're close enough where you can rush them to the emergency room.
And this is like the, you know, they have the 290-foot square cabin that doesn't include additional sleeping loft, large enough to function as a summer house. Or you can put in, you know, make sure utilities are hooked up. So if you're not getting it for your daughter, bless her heart, having a little house out back, you can have the relatives stay.
But have you ever seen those shows on HGTV where they talk about the tiny houses and stuff, and they go in there and these people set them up and they're like, "We're going to live here." Are you crazy?
No.
I mean, are you crazy?
No,
I don't like anyone that much. Get out of my space.
Plus, I don't know if you know this, but I prefer fat guy seating. I know it's a surprise, but I prefer that in my life. And those tiny homes do not have fat guy seating. Yeah, they do not.
No,
well, if you're married to one of those psychotic women who are on their periods,
can you imagine a psychotic woman in 145 square feet? Oh my lord!
But that's actually not a bad deal. I
Jeffy.
often thought that we should. One of my ideas, $1 million ideas, was to have a you know what are the U-Haul, the U boxes and the other boxes that they drop off at your driveway?
Pods.
Yeah, the pods that we could make those as just like a living room. So that when you had relatives stop by, you just order a pod, and they stay in the pod. You hook a hose up for them to use the bathroom in the pod. Hey, you're staying up there.
Call it the Uncle Eddie.
Right.
That's the Uncle Eddie.
Right. When Uncle Joe's time to go, you just call him up and the pod goes.
Yeah, you just push that right into the hole that you already had ready to go.
I mean,
and then every time somebody else
idea.
in the family dies, you just have a personal mausoleum.
I thought it was a good idea.
You just dig it back up and you just drop them in. Boom. Here's what we're going to do. Like, that's actually, like, I was thinking, we were going down the road, Steve and I, we were in some town driving out through the country from going to a live show that we do, and we passed a cemetery, and I was like, wait, at what point in time, who had thought, let's just take all of our dead people and just put them all in the ground,
right?
And let's just keep them there as like a memorial, and let's just use up all of this great real estate to just keep people in the ground.
Yep.
Like at some point in time, like I think like cremation's becoming a popular deal. Like burn me up, scatter me out. I don't want to be in the ground anyway, living or dead. But like, and then we make it where they can't decompose. You know, so now if you dug up, you know, grandma that's been dead for 25 years, she looks exactly like she did at the funeral. I mean, she's still
still dead.
The only thing dead on her is the rose that was clipped to her, you know. But other than that.
Right, she's still dead. But that's why, look, it's been a fight for a while, right? I mean, the state of Washington just okayed composting of human bodies.
Oh.
So, I mean, you're able to do it. They're going to legalize it. They're going to mix the body with wood chips and straw. And then in a matter of weeks, you're dirt.
Do you got to grind them up first, or?
Wow, why do you hate humans? Wow.
Why do you hate the humans, Steve?
Yeah,
wow.
They're not there.
Listen, what I want to know is...
But that's been a fight. I mean, here in Dallas, they had a big fight last year about that because the university takes the dead bodies that they want from the morgue, and then the homeless people that don't have any IDs or anything just sit in the morgue. And the ones that the university don't want, then they try to ship them off, and they don't ship them off. And what they were doing is giving them a special liquidation drug, so the body's just dispersed, and they would just throw it down the drain, and then they'd grind the bones up and make a bone dust garden. And they were like, no, we can't do that anymore.
See,
that's
like
not
3
right.
days ago, Aunt Doris, she was working the rose garden, and today Aunt Doris is the rose garden.
Right.
That's the crazy thing. And you know, these cadavers, like I've known people who have dedicated or donated their bodies to science to be cadavers and stuff like that, and then they passed away, and that's what they were.
To the body farms?
Well, if they want to do it for that.
I think I'd like to do that.
See, the body farm's interesting. Like you know, that's what they do. University of Tennessee, they just put these people in all these different states of murder, you know, whatever, and they're like, okay, let's see how the body decomposes out in the wild or in the woods or up against a tree or you know what it does. And it's so forensic scientists can come in.
CSI, real life.
CSI, you know, but. Like, I knew a doctor. My father went to college with a guy who went on to become a doctor, went to med school. And now these days, if you mess with a cadaver, like it's a major federal offense. Like you can't do something to that body that's been donated that you can't desecrate the body, right? Like if it's medical science, you got to be doing medical science. But back in the day, like my dad's old college buddy, like, he cut the penis off of his cadaver and went to the football game at the college and was standing at one of those trough urinals with a bunch of guys around. He pulls the penis out of his pocket, slams it on the ground, and goes, "This thing's never worked!" and walks out and leaves.
See, now
they put you under the jail for that now.
Yeah, wow, that's funny. Yeah, you're definitely in jail today.
Yeah.
I mean, you're definitely in
I'm
jail.
just impressed the guy had enough to sling around, even as a dead guy. That's great. But like those nurses. Like those nurses last year that got in trouble and lost their jobs because they were talking about how big the guy's
they were joking about it. Or whatever. They made some sort of joke.
He was
about
dead, and so they had to go check him out. And then they were all like, "Oh," and they were talking about it, and they all got fired because apparently this guy was really
crazy.
stacked, even when he was dead.
I didn't have that problem.
No,
when I went to the
when
hospital.
you were dead.
Yeah, when I was dead. Yeah, they just looked and went, "Poof, man, good thing he died."
Yeah. Dig him up, bring him out of the bunker. I don't think he was all the way out. See, I think that's a solution to getting buried alive. Like, what if you weren't already dead? You could be in the bunker with some supplies, with a TV, and some good. Chef Boyardee. Be great.
That's it.
This is why people hate this show. This is why some of you sick people love it, and this is why you need to tell your family and friends. Natalie, are you disgusted yet?
No, I was just thinking of a ridiculous conversation that I had with my grandmother who has passed away, but she said, everything's taken care of. I'm going to be buried. And I said, Mimi, I really think you should... maybe we could, I don't want to be buried myself. And I said, because I won't be able to breathe in the coffin. And she's like, that's so ridiculous. You're dead. And then I said, well, why don't you want to be cremated? And she goes, well, that'll hurt. So we just had these really ridiculous conversations. She's buried. I don't know. It's interesting how I feel like it has shifted where more and more people are getting cremated. Have you chosen?
Oh, I'm getting cremated.
I think you should donate your body. There's some magic.
The problem is I would have some genius who has a childlike mind, like Party Foul Steve, who would wind up with it, and he'd be like, you know what we could do at the football game with this? But speaking of that,
we promise it won't happen, Chad.
We signed a waiver.
We'll sign on the dotted line.
Yeah. But talking about that, there's a dude that passed out drunk, and he woke up. This is a headline to find that his penis was missing.
Man,
44
that's
years
a long
old,
night.
lost consciousness after heavy drinking with friends in China. And he woke up realizing his penis had been cut off.
The Bobbit factor.
Oh, that's crazy.
It's in some type of
Chinese makes me want to never go to China.
Now.
Yes, it does. Makes me at least not get drunk anymore.
Well, now it's at a football game.
No, I still go to China. Let's not get drunk there.
Steve's just over here having his own conversation.
Did you
See,
know
that's how comfortable we get right here on this show.
Did you know the guy? Was he a friend of yours? Were you one of his friends?
No, but I was thinking it was in China. It's already been dried out and ground up, and they're going to sprinkle it in some tea.
Thank you.
Yeah, that's a thing.
Yummy.
That is a thing.
That's a thing.
That is a thing. Yeah,
Probably why they took it.
A lot of stories out of China, you don't know whether it's true or not.
It's China. They're not real people.
That's true. Yeah. There's so many of them. Who cares?
Only the ones that come to America.
We care about them. That's it.
Well, they become capitalists.
Okay.
And usually do surgery on us.
So we like those people a lot. They're really good people.
Oh, wait, I've got that totally confused with the subcontinent of India, but whatever. Anyway, what else?
I don't know. What do you want from me?
Oh no, man. Did you see where these Catholic schoolgirls? The Catholic school. I'm sorry, has banned skirts because it can't stop the girls from wearing skirts that are too short. You know that only the good die young.
I mean, that's almost un-American. That's almost un-American
to
not have Catholic girls wearing.
Who's running the school?
The
nuns or the kids? They used to beat
just
them.
Pissed off our Catholic viewers. I'm sorry.
No, the Catholics are known for beating their kids when they don't do right?
Yeah.
Well, the old thinking was the
nuns.
Old
that
beat
goes
you with
to
school.
stick?
I mean, my
various
father-in-law,
forms of punishment.
Well, because my oldest son I sent to Catholic school, and nothing ever happened to him. I mean, I tried. The Lord knows. No.
I'm married to a Catholic, so I can say whatever I want about a Catholic.
But my father-in-law was grew up in Catholic schools his whole life, and he talked about nuns being really mean.
Yeah.
Really mean and nasty and
those were just priests in dresses.
Yeah, I mean, probably in today's world that's absolutely true.
Lord have mercy. I really do love everybody. But see, here's the thing. Parents protested over that move because they say the girls aren't the same as boys and should be allowed to express their gender identity.
Oh, shut up.
Shut up. They were giving away hours of detention because these girls were wearing short, schoolgirl skirts. I mean, that's not a thing. Sure. Of course not.
So the boys wearing skirts too?
This isn't Ireland.
Oh, okay.
Or
yeah.
I mean, if their testicles are hanging out, they're
it's
way
too short.
Easy, macho man.
Right.
Boy, you got to shave to go out in a skirt like that. That don't mean your legs.
Words I've never heard, by the way.
No.
Don't worry
I don't even
about
like wearing. I don't even want to wear shorts in my life. I don't even like my legs are so pasty and
it's your legs
varicosed, and I have gout in my foot.
Hey, what's going on with that?
It hurts. A lot of uric acid. It's a rich man's disease. Is that
what they told you?
That's what they tell me.
Okay.
Yeah.
I never have to worry about
No,
that.
really. Thanks for stopping into the office. It's a rich man's disease. I mean, what? Seriously, I haven't done I apologize for not having studied up on gout.
Yeah.
But I thought that
it's not sexually transmitted, so you're safe.
Okay, because you didn't tell me if you were flared up or anything.
I'm pretty flared up, if that's what we're calling it.
Not horned.
It's an increase of uric acid in your system. It's an arthritic condition that flares up, and it for me it gets in the side of my foot and in my ankle.
Is there a thing through diet that can
there is a lot
that,
like you would have to give up steak and shellfish and whiskey, and that's just not happening.
Okay.
So
you're doing this, and then you know that it's going to make you suffer.
Yeah, it makes me suffer.
Wow.
And I
don't know if that's manly or stupid.
Well, it's a lot stupid. It's a lot stupid.
Is there like gout cream or anything?
No, there's no cream, but there's like you could take colchicine or alpurinol you can take as a preventative, but alpurinol gives you other problems like your kidneys and things like that. So I choose not to take it.
We'll be back
right
after this as we discuss more on gout and what you can do to prevent gout in your life.
Yeah, this sounds like there should be an infomercial at 2:30. Gout got you down? Has abortion killed you?
Before Dr. Jones called me, my gout flared up all the way up to my groin. So bad.
Oh, Natalie, why do you always just look at us like you're trying to figure us out? I mean, sometimes Natalie just zones. Y'all notice that? Like, what? Candice?
Yes.
How old are you, 22?
23.
23? You're just beginning.
Wow.
There's so many things that are going to fall apart on your body one day. Okay. So many things.
Noted.
She's royalty.
Yeah.
Nothing falls apart on royalty.
Right?
Yeah, it does. They get
Stay away from Chad. You don't want to get the gout.
Right.
I told you. Yeah.
Well, it's not sexually transmitted, you said.
She's already a hemophiliac. I mean, she's royalty. Of course.
It's not sexually transmitted, but like if...
Hemophilia?
Is it in the air or anything, your gout? No, I don't care about that.
You want to smell my feet? Oh. Hey, why did that get a response out of you, Hot News?
Sure did.
You a feet person? People are literally in droves getting off of this podcast right now going, what are we watching? Jeffy Fisher. I told you, it's news. It doesn't matter. People.
I have a story that doesn't matter that popped up. Well, maybe it does matter. It matters to me. I saw something popped up in my feed yesterday. It matters to me.
I'm so happy for you.
Something popped up in my feed too. My wife said, "What are you looking at that for?" Anyway,
that the hand dryers in the bathroom suck up fecal matter in the room and then blow it out on your hands when you dry your hands. Is that true? Oh my gosh.
They are fecal matter spreaders is what they are.
Really bad.
So back
people quit in the hand dryer.
It's party time, Mom. I'm drinking sparkling water.
That's exactly what happened.
So, like last night, it was so funny. I get these people. I was watching. The other night, I was watching a podcast episode, and people were like, "Chad's drunk. He's pickled. Just look at him. You could tell." And I'm like, "You have no idea. You have no idea what you're even talking about." But anyway, so. Golly, I'm looking over there at Queen Elizabeth. We'll get into that in a second. Hang on, look at that face.
Tell me she's not hot. Go ahead, tell me.
Have you seen? Put it on Jeffy. Give Jeffy a look at her. No, this one right here.
You can't tell me.
Look at her. She could still kick your ass.
She's still hot?
No, she's not hot. She never was. Have you seen The Crown? Did you watch The Crown?
A little bit of it. I haven't seen it all of it.
2 seasons of it. I watched the deal, and the girl that played Queen Elizabeth. I mean, she's a reasonably attractive woman, and I was like, they really are stretching.
Yeah.
Really, really stretching on this. And the girl that played, what?
Y'all blew over the fecal matter.
Oh, I know what I was going to tell you.
We can go back to kids crapping in the hand blower.
I'm just saying that is news that matters. Nobody should be using those blow jars anymore.
No, they shouldn't. So back when I used to work for the company I worked for, selling industrial supplies nationwide for a Fortune 300 company as a sales consultant, before I was able to run my mouth for a living.
How many of these hand blowers we can get you in for
No,
today?
what we did is we tried to
coming to this building. You got 184,000 square feet. How many bathrooms can we get with this?
That's exactly right. So what we did, we didn't do the hand dryers because that's not a repeat buy. We want them to buy paper.
Yeah,
so everybody's thinking, well, we're going to go green. And so we're going to buy these hand dryers. It's like, no, let me show you the science behind this stuff. It's called aerosolization. That's why your toothbrush in your bathroom at home should be covered at all times, because every time you flush the commode, about 15 feet radius is going to be coated with fecal matter over a period of time. You can't keep the fecal matter off your toothbrush. See, this is news that doesn't matter, except you're brushing your teeth.
So it does matter.
That
people,
one matters.
If people aren't aware of this, they need to be aware of it.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of this news, you know, the fecal matter news, you say to yourself, oh, man, I can't take it, and then you move on. You're like, you walk in the bathroom and the blower's on, you're like, I don't care.
Is there anything
I just want my hands dry.
I was thinking this morning, and I love the poop jokes. I just go easy on that, you know. It's like it makes me laugh.
Well,
like I was thinking, I was laying in the bed this morning, and I had a little gas, right? So I do that. You do that. We do that. All God's children do that. Candice does that, even at 23. The little puffs of daisies. And so listen,
royalty puffs.
Yes, Natalie, it happens.
No, my daughter calls it Princess Pop.
By God, we're
going to town on this.
We're going to milk this udder, okay? We're going to get it for all it's worth.
You had a Princess Pop this morning.
No, I didn't. I farted. And so this morning I'm laying in bed, and I was realizing, like, my wife, here's this. You go in your relationships, you go from, like, when should I pass gas in front of this person I'm dating or I'm with, like, and I know people who've gone 30 years and they never passed gas. It's like, oh my Lord, don't put a pin near them. They won't fart in front of their.
That's a fake relationship. That's not a real relationship.
That's not intimacy right there. But then at that point you're like, okay, I'm just gonna do it. I'm just gonna do it. There it is. Boom. There it is. What do you think? Here's my scent. Know it. And they're like, oh, and it's funny. Then after a while, you get to the point in the relationship where it's like, oh, honey. Well, now my wife is at a point where, like, you can pass gas in front of her. She won't say anything until she smells it. And then it's like, baby, don't do that anymore. And I'm like, what do you think I did? Dial the knob to stink? Like this was, what did you think just came out of my butt? It's a fart. Like, I didn't just say, okay, this one's going to be silent and you're not going to know it. Like, it used to be. Like, now you don't even care that I fart. You just care that you smell it. Baby, stop. I mean, I'm not putting a setting on the thing. You know, I ate food. I have gout. You know why? Whiskey, shellfish, and steak. Yes, they stink.
You are not letting this gout thing go, are you?
No, I'm hurting. In pain.
I mean, how many times have you sat on a hand blower? And
well, there was that one time I got hung up. God bless you, Mr. Dyson.
There's the new hand blowers, too, that you stick your hands in.
The blades.
Yeah.
The blades.
The blades. I don't like those.
That's still
I don't like those. No, I believe that those are still part of the what did you call it?
Aerosolization.
Aerosolization, yes, program. Yeah. But it scares you. You think something else is going to happen. You don't want.
Yeah. So what did the Queen do?
Oh, well, I was just
going to say the Queen farts, by the way.
Natalie, are you good with that coverage of the aerosol?
By the way, you can send in all the messages you want. That was Natalie. That was all Natalie. She said, we didn't finish talking about the fecal matter.
I'm happy to talk about germs and the touching of things. I mean, we have touch screens all over this country now for everything that are full of fecal matter.
Yeah.
That's disgusting. All the McDonald's touch screens, all your bank touch screens.
It's ubiquitous.
All your phone, everything.
Ubiquitous?
Just put in your ID. It's all over.
Fecal matter is ubiquitous.
It is. It's like when you get that toothpick out of that little dispenser there at the restaurant. You roll it out, and you're like, oh, I'm going to pick my teeth with this. What you think you're picking your teeth with, fool?
If you think about it, that's when you get scared and you don't want to even go out into the world. Yeah. That's why you just give up.
You get a bunker.
You just give up.
Get a bunker, get a bunch of cats.
Fine. Plus, your body needs to fight off a few things. Otherwise, if it doesn't, you get gout and die.
But see, it's okay. Like, they did a test on toothpicks in restaurants and talked about how much urine samples were found on the toothpicks. But, you know, urine ain't going to kill you. Like in Vietnam, they used to lay those guys down that were overheating and had the entire platoon just piss on them just to cool them off. That's a fact.
That's what,
cool them down. You just pee on them.
Plus, we all look. Any product made in any part of the country, but especially here in the U.S., all has. Oh, well, that's got only 0.233 of rat poop. That's fine. Let that one go through.
Yeah, that's like that Dr. Pepper can. Is that your Dr. Pepper can?
It is. But
you know how many?
There's no diet.
Do you know how many? You know how many mice ran over that in the warehouse while they were waiting to put that in a box and ship it out here?
I don't know that particular can. Are you going to tell me?
You drank it right out of the can.
I did.
So, but I don't care.
I kind of wiped it off, but that means it was on my finger.
Well, that's why I love these people who talk about being germaphobes. And it's like, you're not a germaphobe.
No, that's what I mean.
Like you live in a bubble.
We've given up. Yeah, we've given up. But really, it's better for us to get some of the germs.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if we're sticking to the germ stories and the poop stories, it's really better for humans to get a little bit of this, because a lot of these germs aren't killer germs because our body fights them off. Without them, our body doesn't fight them off, and that's what creates other illnesses.
Like vaccines.
Like I expect, when I walk around here and I see all the stuff that Glenn Beck and those guys have amassed, and all these interesting artifacts in the museum and stuff, like a lock of George Washington's hair, and there's a piece of the coat that Abraham Lincoln was wearing when he got assassinated. I keep thinking one day I'm going to come out, there's going to be like a Petri dish with Millard Fillmore's turd. You know, just like this is what he had, right? Like, it wouldn't surprise me that Beck probably doesn't have something like that around here.
No, he doesn't have that, although I'm surprised that he doesn't have. I did a story earlier this week about the museum that has the human cheese. You know, made from skin and hair and stuff. And
I was good until you just went right there.
They let it fester up, and now it's a block of cheese made out of the human stuff. And
Candace, have you seen this? You heard of this?
No, and I'm kind of.
We don't ever want to talk about this again.
No.
We don't? You don't like cheese?
From under cheese?
Nope.
Seriously, you don't like? Why don't you like cheese?
I mean, okay. I don't like that kind of cheese. Natalie, is this too much for you?
No.
In your mouth? Like,
I don't get grossed
now.
out, but I'm not. Nope.
I'll throw up for everybody. I'll show you how good I am. That's why I got a black eye right now. I threw up last week.
If you were to do that, then it would force me to do it. I don't want you to do that.
It's going to be like Pitch Perfect, where everybody starts throwing up in the studio.
Sympathetic puker.
Yeah.
Listen, there's sometimes I just got to blow off steam and bring Jeffy in here and talk about all this nonsense. Tell me what the Queen did.
The Queen, well, I tell you, I can go in depth. I mean, where you can get Queen coverage in depth is Chewing the Fat.
Chewing the Fat.
I mean, I am in depth. We have actual Windsor Whisperer that we have available to us on Chewing the Fat, so we get some inside information.
Awesome.
This particular story is just talking about how the Queen is looking for a new Instagrammer, and you can go to work for the Queen as her, as her Instagram person.
It never crossed my mind that Elizabeth Windsor might have an Instagram account.
So, for 38 grand a year, you go to work for the Queen.
38
grand a year.
Is that pounds?
Well, it says 30. The story is $38,000. Yeah, don't try to.
She's cheap.
Teach her how to do
that's not.
face.
But you got a place to live. You got a place to live, and you're eating there, and
But there's so many rules.
That's 24/7. Oh, I know. But we could talk. I mean, news broke yesterday that is agonizing if you want to get into depth into some Queen coverage.
Well, I do, but I just want to make one comment. Can you imagine if you posted the wrong thing on Instagram on behalf of the Queen, and like now you're in the tower? And he's like, you cut off his head. I don't even know why that accent came out of me. But whatever.
Because the execuever.
The Queen just calls the footman.
You get the Queen wave as you're passing by in the
you
thing.
You don't even get the wave, man. You just get. I mean, you're dead.
Cut off his head.
Yeah, it's dead.
I'm really trying to find a Queen accent.
We should have the Queen on the show.
I've asked.
Okay.
She is a sweetheart. She's like, no.
Is that
have a cookie and no, and then she hit the little. She hit the little button, and the door opened up, and the Grand Vizier came out. That might be Pakistan. I don't know.
Because I would get the impression that the Queen would have her, her people. She has people.
Oh, the Queen! I thought we were talking about the rock band. I was so gonna get.
Oh, see, see, no rim shot. No.
I thought you were talking about the drag queen.
We were going to get your ex-boyfriend.
Yeah.
There were people really freaking out over that episode when you talked about your high school boyfriend was a drag queen.
I didn't read them.
Yeah.
What's wrong with, why is that a problem?
Not in my world. Not on the Chad Prather Show.
Yeah.
I mean, you just
Can we get some drag queens in here?
Yes.
Yeah,
you're just dressing up as a woman, dancing around, proud of yourself, right?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. That's what I think drag queens are.
Get them in. I want to get them in.
Okay.
Yeah, I want to get them in.
That'll
That's
be
going to be a
show.
fantastic show.
I've already told him about it.
Yeah.
I called them both.
You see, what people don't understand about me is like I like to push you to the edge. Like I'm not going to push you over.
I'm fascinated. Are they the show drag queen people, or are they the drag queen where I'm a man but I want to live as a woman, so I'm going to wear these god awful ugly woman clothes?
Yeah,
or do they wear the show clothes?
I was 14. Too.
Yeah, the long dress down to the ankles, and I want to be a woman, but that's who I am. But or are you the show drag queen?
Yeah, so I was telling them that my high school sweetheart and his identical twin both dress in drag, and they have done these shows for many, 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 many years.
Now you're making me think of stuff with twins.
Well, that's where Chad went yesterday.
I got a buddy who married a triplet, and he says that he's almost hurt himself in his imagination.
Oh, boy, no kidding.
He bruised his imagination just thinking about things. What was the queen? Speaking of queens, what was the queen thing you were going to...
Oh, well, it's the story. Meghan and Harry with the baby, and they made such a big deal about they weren't going to have it birthed at the hospital, and she had her special paint brought in for the room, and they were going to birth the baby in gallons of Evian water brought in from the pond itself, and everything was wonderful. And they weren't, because they made such a big deal about William and Kate having the baby at the hospital. The baby's at the hospital. They just took over a floor. They brought the kid out, and that was it. We're not going to do that. That's too good. Well, then we thought, well, the Queen went over there early, and they thought that the baby was born before they actually announced it. There was rumors going on, and no, nothing could be farther from the truth. Really? Okay. That's why the birth certificate, now we find out from our Windsor Whisperer on Chewing the Fat, that the birth certificate says the baby was born at a particular hospital. So they did have the kid at the stupid hospital instead. So I get that Harry believes that Meghan gets what Meghan wants, but the Queen gets what the freaking Queen wants.
That royalty really goes to your head real quick until you find out you're not.
That's right.
Yeah.
That's right.
Just ask what's her name that the first king married, and they made him move to France. Remember remember that deal? Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Oh, and look, she's refused to step down because Charlie screwed up so many times.
Yeah.
I mean, he's like,
she's really she's like really hoping that it skips. I think she's trying to outlive Chuck.
I think so too, because she's already laying the groundwork for William to be king. She's ready for her grandchild to be king.
And you know why? It's because I think that Charles is so much Philip's son, just with the foot and mouth disease, and just I was like, nope.
And then for years he fell in love with Camilla or whatever the hell her name is.
They're still together.
Yeah, I know. They're still. She's whatever.
Did you really take it to the royal stables with that? I love it.
She definitely is.
She's a handsome woman.
She is. Camilla has always been. And they always met each other at the stables. I got it.
You're pissing off the royal family.
I know.
Followers.
I'm sorry.
It's the followers.
I'm sorry.
I've never understood these people who really just I never understood in the marriage vows when these people get married, they're like, for better or for worse. And I'm like, there is no worse. There's no worse. You had to have your baby at a hospital, not at the house. That's as worse as it gets for you.
Thank you. That's it. That's as bad as it gets.
So did they ever decide if they're having had a boy or a girl, or?
Yeah, Archie.
Black,
they had
white?
the boy. They had the boy, and
but they're not identifying.
I don't know that it's. I think that was part of the Queen's problem, right? Is why they had it at the hospital and why they made a big deal, because they were afraid that Meghan isn't full bred. Isn't a full bred Anglo. So I'm just saying. That's an issue.
Just let your soul glow.
Yes.
Hey,
and if we had the soul glow happen, it would have been down. I mean, and it could have happened, right? Maybe that's why we had it at the hospital. They did the switch. I don't know.
And what's his name? Archie?
Yeah.
Or like Haggis
Archie.
or...
Yeah. I mean, Archie, really?
Archie. I mean, it's not Jerome.
Not even Archibald? No, it's not. Yeah, Archibald. Oh, never mind.
Oh, Archie. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway. There's nothing off limits here. When this thing comes on and says comedy, craziness, and common sense, and nothing's off limits, I promise you.
Oh, yeah.
Nothing's off limits.
Thank you.
Nothing's off limits. What was I going to talk about? Meghan Markle. Anyway, whatever. Oh, I know what I was going to ask you. Yes. So does the Windsor Whisperer, can they tell you, like, the math on that birth date? Like, was she doing the royal wedding?
Well, you saw when they first brought the child.
Was she pregnant? Is what I'm saying. When they got married.
When they first. I haven't.
Was she already knocked up?
About that.
Had she already been harried?
So, no, I don't think so. Possible though. I have to look into that. I'll ask the Windsor Whisperer about that.
This kid got red hair.
I don't think so though.
See, that's what worries me. Like, they're not showing this kid.
No, they're not. And I think that what the part of the problem is that, like, they just had it early. Even when they brought the kid out to show him, he slipped up and said, he's been something about 2 weeks, and it's been weeks. It's they can't keep their story straight.
Stupid Steve over there directing this thing like he's going, wrap it up. No, Jeffy can leave anytime Jeffy wants. Jeffy's got to go do another show.
Thank you.
Good
Plus,
God.
he's behind my back. If somebody's behind my back going like this, I can't see him.
Fine. Well, hey.
But
there's news that doesn't matter. How about that? No, you got to go do another show, Jeffy.
I know, but I brought all kinds of stuff for you.
Oh, well, we'll do an overtime sometime. That's why you got to come back the next time with Jeffy Fisher. Go to Chewing the Fat with Jeffy Fisher. You need to listen to every single podcast he's ever done.
I agree. Yeah, absolutely, 100%.
Oh, yeah. Fantastic.
Subscribe.
Jeffy, I love you. I have to say that because we're still in public. Anyway, the rest of you, I truly do love you. Hot News Natalie, Party Pal Steve, Puppet Master Mark, Candice, the Queen of the Ethiopians. Go find Jeffy Fisher. Chewing the Fat. Love y'all. God bless. Talk to you next time. Bye.